Before I say, I'd like to introduce you to my mascots.
Yeah.
The googly thing here.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Worst name for an episode ever.
Okay. Well, I should start by saying, when I watched this episode, I was very, very drunk. And I may be a little hazy on some of the points in this episode. But I can say that I definitely enjoyed it quite muchly.
Yes, last week's episode in 10 words or less. And it's called as Can You Remember Me? No, not really. There you go. 7.
I thought it was great. There's something else that's happening in this season that I think is fabulous. It is really world spanning. They're going through, in every episode they seem to be going through different time periods, different places. It's very Earth centric, which I am thinking is probably there's some underlying reason behind all of that. But the fact that they hop about all over the place, I think is fantastic, and that's an episode that really had a lot of that.
There was these kind of two big bads, and you didn't really realise they were big bads, but in some ways for me the kind of whole thing about it was the fear. It was talking about human fear and how to overcome human fear.
It kind of reminded me a bit of the Nightmare Man from Clare-Hope.
What happened in this episode? There was a man with his fingers came off.
Oh, yes! Oh, it's all flooding back now.
His fingers came off. It was so scary. It was the scariest thing that's ever happened in those shows.
I think it was. Also, I think it was weirder because they didn't go in the pointy way. They went in like the back way, like the joint way.
And it was like, okay, Doctor Who's supposed to be suitable for children, like somewhat. I wouldn't let anyone under 18 watch that. That was the worst thing I've just ever seen in my life. Worst.
That was the worst thing
it was
that you've ever seen in your whole life.
It was actually quite a good episode, but
it was the worst thing she's seen in her whole life.
I thought it was great, and I was right in there in the middle of it. But I do kind of have a criticism, I suppose, in that we're talking about Immortals, Eternals, and I love all the callbacks to old episodes, and we're talking about really big kind of people in all of this. So it fell a bit flat when the two of them are on a street in wherever they are, being a bit scary, eating people's nightmares. It just felt ho-hummy. It wasn't grand enough scale for me. And then it all ended very, very quickly for things that were supposed to be that immense and that powerful. So it felt a little flat there.
I didn't really like it. It reminded me quite a lot of the David Tennant episode with the big demon.
Beast Below.
I have a problem with all-powerful supernatural beings in science fiction. I think it's usually poorly handled, and it kind of was in this episode as well. I get your point that it's more about
really
their
about
fears
that,
than how they defeat said entities. But it's always slightly disappointing when the all-powerful entity is defeated in about 5 seconds at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I also quite liked the moment where the two gods were telling the Doctor about their history, the visuals that were used. Not as visually pleasing or well explained as the Brother's Tale by Hermione in the penultimate Harry Potter film, but I still thought it was quite an interesting bit of the episode.
The wee animation showing the back story of the two of them was, quite well done, but slightly jarring as well.
See, I liked that because I felt that was quite Hitchhikers-y sort of vibe to it, and I think that's where they were going with that.
It kind of felt to me like, we want to do like full CGI of this, and then we ran out of money, so we'll just do a wee cartoon. is kind of what it felt like to me.
See, I don't know. I feel that the cartoon was probably quite a lot of money to make.
Good episode for the companions.
Yes,
Properly.
really nice, really good.
Yes.
Kind of gave everyone like a nice sort of big like peppering of grounding.
Yeah, I mean, Yaz has been so underdeveloped for a season and a half that I forgot that they'd ever said before that she was bullied at school. And I was like, well, where did that come from? My sister was like, no, they did actually mention that last series. And I was like,
Of course, your
oh,
sister
yeah.
remember that detail.
And then, what's that supposed to do?
What? She's got a good attention
Fair
to
enough.
detail.
Yeah, it's just the
Unlike
way
me or
the
you.
way you said it sounded like, anyway, never mind. So, yeah, no, so like it was actually foreshadowed. It wasn't just out of nowhere, and like it was actually a good character moment for Yaz. I think
so.
Like I think that is probably the most consistent bit of character background / development we had on Yaz,
Yes.
and I bought it.
And that's what I feel about it, because the whole interaction with your life gone shut, you can't do anything, you can't get out, and you have to fight your own battle in order to escape. It reminds me of that.
I could kind of relate to some of that. Maybe not to the extent of suicide, but yeah, I kind of suffer from anxiety, so I can very much relate to Yaz there.
I like it was kind of very much concentrating on mental health in terms of the fear aspect of it, you know.
And once you control your fear, you have something
Yeah,
that
exactly.
can defeat gods, apparently.
Well, apparently so.
There's a bit that I thought was absolutely brilliant. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It gave me a whole huge piece of humanity, and that's a bit that the Beeb actually had to go and explain because there were complaints over it. And that's a bit where Graham's talking about his fears about the cancer coming back, and the doctor going, I'm socially awkward and I don't know how to deal with this. I thought that was just fabulously placed, because I've been in that kind of situation where I'm sat there going, with someone telling me deeply personal things that you just want to try and respond to, but I'm sat in my own head thinking, is this the right thing to say to them? Will this help them, or will it hurt them? And I just feel that kind of fear inside me contracting and going, I don't know the right thing to say to help this person, or give them some kind of ease. And for me, it was a very real kind of thing that was happening, and it was so like, all of the Doctors that we've seen, and I think Jodie played that to perfection, and I don't understand why people would complain about it.
And the other thing I felt about that as well was he wasn't actually acknowledging what his true fear was, because his true fear wasn't the cancer coming back. It was the fact that he let Grace down, and he wasn't being honest when he's talking about his fear. He's saying that that's what his fear is, but his true fear isn't that. His true fear is that he let Grace down and he let her die, because in that scene, he wakes up with a drip and he's been told he's hours to live, but the doctor's Grace. That didn't make any sense in terms of his fear's the cancer. His fear's the fact that he let his wife down, and I think that's more about it, and he's not being honest about that.
As an episode goes, I mean, it was a lot deeper, I think, than most episodes, which is a good and a bad thing. I don't want every episode to be like that, but the fact that one was really sold me the whole episode. It was just great.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Glasgow Who Society
YouTube channel.